Over the last couple of weeks, I've not really talked about the OnePlus Open very much, and if that made you think that I had forgotten about this device and left it behind, I can understand why you would feel that way, because there's just not been a whole lot to talk about. But today, finally, we're back because there is an update rolling out in North America, and it's a little bit complicated, so let's get into it. I posted this picture on Threads just a little while ago, and you can see that this is a very, very small changelog. All it says is integrates the September 2024 Android security patch to enhance system security, yet it was 1.31 gigabytes, which should immediately make you suspicious. That's far too big to simply be a security patch. But also notice that it is the .840 update, and if you're in North America, you're probably running the .820 update. So we're jumping from 820 to 840, and it's even more complicated than that because the 830 update that did roll out in other regions actually got a second version. So there were two different 830 updates. So I think that this 840 is both 830s and the 840. So we're going to go over everything that is in it. The 840 appears to just be a security update. So let's talk about the other features that you're not going to see in this changelog. All right, so the first thing on the list is the fact that in our private safe, we do now have a recently deleted section. This is not something that I actually have ever set up and used, but if you are using this, now you have this little recently deleted section where files are going to live after you delete them. Inside the stock photo app, we are getting a handful of new features as well. One of them that is apparently new is the ability to go into your share menu and share directly to link to Windows. You can see down there that I'm kind of tapping on it. You can see link to Windows. It'll send it directly to your PC. These are a little bit less visually interesting, so we'll just look at this changelog screenshot that I actually found on Reddit for the Indian version. But again, all this stuff does seem to be here now. You can sort photos by date taken, time modified, or by file name. You can now rename an album or change its cover to customize it to your own style. And this is kind of cool. You can now speed up a video without changing the audio pitch. So let's actually jump back over to my phone and we'll take a look at that. So we got a video of a caterpillar here, and if we edit and go into speed, I can increase this to 2x, and when it's playing, it should still sound normal.
Dangerous. I don't think that they actually can sting. I think that that's just primarily to look intimidating.
So hopefully you could hear there, it's faster, but it's not increasing the pitch. It also says you can now easily create an album on the home page of Photos, and then we do have improves system stability. So that is 830 patch number 1, or maybe it was number 2, but it's the first one that I'm looking at. The second one I'm going to look at is going to be this one. Adds a switch to show/hide media playback info in the status bar. And this is kind of a weird one, and it confused me for a really, really long time. So they added this thing where certain applications would give you sort of like their clone of the dynamic island up in the status bar. I'd seen screenshots of it, but I had literally never gotten this thing to work, and it's because it only works on very select applications. I was trying it in YouTube Music. Doesn't work with YouTube Music. So first, let me show you what this actually looks like using Spotify, which is an app I don't even use, but we'll go with it just to show it to you. We're playing some music now, and if I go home, you can see in the top left this little dynamic island type thing, which I can touch, and it should just sort of maximize the music player. Great. So if you want to get rid of that, you can go into your settings, and you are looking for, let's get out of this really quickly, you're looking for notifications and status bar there in the middle, and then we're looking for more settings. See at the very bottom, show media playback info in status bar, and you can see that it is now gone, and now it is back. This is a feature that I would like to see expanded to work with more applications. I don't use Spotify. Let's get it working in YouTube Music. How about YouTube itself? Just in general. It'd be cool if it actually worked on more applications, but it doesn't, so that's what we have. We also have the improvement to the user experience of scrolling screenshots. Notifications or live alert messages won't pop up, and floating windows won't be displayed when you are taking a scrolling screenshot. So that is a pretty cool one as well. You're trying to take a scrolling screenshot and something pops up and it gets in the way, it messes up your screenshot. Let's open up a floating window of something and we will try testing this out. So we'll go ahead, and I tried to do the corner swipe like this was a Z Fold. That's not how floating windows work on this phone. So this is actually kind of weird. So we've got a floating window, we have an application, let's take our screenshot, and scroll is not an option. So let me try Actually putting this over here in the corner, we'll shrink it down, make sure that we're interacting with Chrome, and we'll try a screenshot again. Once again, scroll is not an option. So I thought that this was supposed to be a thing where you could do this and the floating window just wouldn't show up. If I get rid of the floating window, I should have now scroll as an option. So I'm not exactly sure how that's working. Maybe it's not. If you know what I'm missing on that one, if you figured something out, let me know in the comments down below. But that is sort of it for the other update. And then, of course, the one we have today is just a security patch. So that should be pretty much everything big anyways that they've told us about with this current 840 update. Something else that I always like to check on every update, it's a bug that has been present since the very, very beginning. We're going to try to edit this icon, which is actually an icon pack, and we're going to try to change the icon that it uses. The bug here is that you should be able to scroll through every icon available in this icon pack, but once you get so far, it will just sort of stop and it will not allow you to go any further. So we're just going to see how far we can scroll and if it eventually does bug out and stop letting us scroll any further. And as you can see, it is doing exactly that. So that bug is still not fixed. And there's one more thing that I also want to check. If you've been following along on this channel, you will know that they actually recently changed the way that the back gestures work on this device when you are in split screen. You have two different applications on the screen. When this device launched, the way it worked was if you did a swipe back on this side, on the left side, it would always go back on this app. If you did a swipe back on this side, it would always go back on this app. But they changed things where now the way it works is no matter which side you go back on, it's always going to be dependent. It's always going to be acting on the app that you last touched. But there was also an additional problem where whichever side you swiped on also acted as a touch on an application. So it would go back on the last app you touched, but then it would touch the app you swiped back on. So then the next swipe would go back on that app. I know that's very, very confusing. We're going to test this and see how this is working. So I'm just going to go into an application a couple of layers deep in the Play Store. And then on this one, we're going to go a couple of layers deep as well. Let's do that one. And so we have touched Wise last. So we're going to swipe to go back on the Play Store. Wise has gone back. Let's swipe to go back on the Play Store again. And now the Play Store has gone back because the swipe over here acted on the Play Store and brought it into focus. So that has not changed. My recommendation to fix this, just like it was before, is to use this application called Edge Gestures. And what it does is it lets you just sort of bind a swipe back on the left and right as a back gesture. It's exactly the same as it already is, but for some reason, it doesn't do the same thing. So we're going to once again go a couple of layers deep. And if we swipe back on, let's make sure we're touching the Wise application. Let's go back on the Play Store. We've gone back on Wise. Let's go back on the Play Store again. We still went back on Wise because the swipe didn't change the focus. This is a small thing for some people. Some people are like, Shane, you're out of your mind. This is not really a problem. You're freaking out for nothing. But it is a thing for me. Maybe it's a thing for you. And I've tested it and it's exactly the same. So guys, there you have it. That is what is new as far as I can tell in the October update for the OnePlus Open, the 840 update. If you have come across anything else, you've noticed any small changes, because it happens all the time, right? Like they'll sneak something in there. That change to the gestures was not in any changelog. I think it might not have even been on purpose. It's entirely possible that they don't even know that it has happened. Let me know if you come across anything else. Put it in the comments down below so that everybody else will know about it as well. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more content like this, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.